Welcome to the How To Go To. In this video, I want to talk about wireless TVs and how to get your TV installed with absolutely no wires showing, no power cords, no HDMI cords, nothing of that nature. So if you are looking for good content on a wireless TV, this is the video for you. And if you know someone who's looking for a wireless TV, share this video with that person. Maybe it's your significant other. Maybe you're trying to get your husband to install a TV for you, or maybe you're trying to get your wife to install a TV for you. That is truly wireless. So one of the benefits of going with that wall-mounted wireless setup is the amount of space you can save. We don't have a big house. It's an old house built in like '66, and over the years, obviously TVs and everything has gotten a lot bigger. We used to have a big TV stand here, 60-inch TV at an angle. These rooms were always shaped kind of weird, and really didn't accommodate big TVs. So if you live in an older house, chances are you don't have a whole lot of room for a big TV stand, and this happens to be a great way to save a lot of space inside a smaller house. It's the size of our living room. It's a skinny, long kind of living room. So number one benefit, in my opinion, is the amount of space you can save. Also, the look is very nice. It looks a lot cleaner, not having any wires showing in it or anything. But believe it or not, this TV has a computer hooked up to it. It has a cable box hooked up to it, and it does have a few things hooked up to it, even though it's not showing any wires. So I want to go ahead and link the mount that I actually use. This is a specific kind of mount. When you really want to get it close to the wall, you want to use a recessed mount where it literally cuts into the drywall and sets the mount inside of the wall and lets the TV sit flush and flat against the wall. I'll show you another one later in the video, different TV mount that we have. It's not a recessed mount and it's not quite as nice. Also, you want to consider the weight of the TV. This is a really heavy TV, so we had to go with a heavy duty mount. This is an older Sharp TV. I don't think they really make TVs this heavy anymore. I want to say it weighs probably close to 100 pounds, just because it's just an old TV. They wanted to make these thin, but they didn't quite have the weight part of it down. I think TVs nowadays are a lot lighter, but going with the recessed mount, you really get it flat up against the wall. I mean, the TV is pretty much touching the wall. So even for flatter TVs, which some TVs nowadays are even flatter than this, the only thing holding this back from actually touching the wall more is the thickness of the TV. Even though this is a pretty flat TV, but the mount we use is really cool because it is a articulating mount. So just as you see, I got one hand here. I can pull this back and it just floats away, away from the wall, which is really a nice feature. And it comes off the wall pretty far. So, that's coming off of the wall. I forget how many inches exactly, but like I said, I'll link this mount in the description and down in the comment section. But check out how far this can come off of the wall, and you can see how it actually installs. So basically what it does is it cuts away into the wall cavity, and it goes between two studs. So then it bolts into studs here. So it is a little bit more involved. It's a harder, install, but if someone's a little bit handy, they can handle it. I am not a professional, but I was able to complete this install myself. So it's got bolts holding it in. With this particular model, if you buy this one on Amazon, I bought this on Amazon. One thing I didn't like about the product that I got in the mail was the bolts were not strong, in my opinion, strong enough for this application, in my opinion. So I did trash the bolts and I went and upgraded to a stronger bolt than what came in the package, because I noticed when I was attaching it, one of them broke, and it just kind of got me thinking, like, there's a lot higher grade bolts. The bolts weren't even rated. These are grade 8 stainless steel bolts that I'm using for the install. And then on this one here, I even added an extra hole in the middle. I know that's not required or anything, but I think the top one the screw broke going in, so I didn't feel comfortable using the included hardware. Another thing that I did with this particular install is I completely disassembled all the pins that run through here, and I greased all the pins with the premium grease, like an automotive grade grease, so that it would float really smooth and really easily when I'm trying to like move the TV around, manipulate the TV around. So that's definitely been a huge benefit because it makes it really easy to handle the TV. Another thing is electrical. So in order to get the electrical hidden so you don't see any wires, is you have to install actual electrical into the wall. So with this mount, we installed the electrical boxes on the actual mount because it has cutouts for that. But the cutouts for this particular model didn't quite fit right. I think it was a little bit of working around that we had to do to get these electrical cutouts to fit. If you were to install this particular mount, I would recommend just putting the electrical outlets on the wall and not on here, but we made it work. Also, we realized after we put them on that there's not enough room to actually plug anything up because this bar, part of the structure of the mount, prevents you from plugging anything into the electrical. So we had to order these custom 90-degree plugs, which wasn't a big deal. But there's these custom 90-degree plugs that there's only one thing that we're plugged in, even though we got 4 outlets here to plug things in. Just these 90 degrees. I could plug something else here if I had to, pull that out and use it, but haven't had to. As far as the HDMIs, we got 2 HDMIs going up through the attic, which was the easiest way for us to do that and the cleanest way for us to do it. You could either go through the attic or the basement, but we chose to go through the attic. We go up, we go through our seal on the wooden for the header of that wall. So we had to go up into the attic and drill through the header with a paddle bolt so that we could fit these HDMIs. We ordered these 50-foot HDMIs from Amazon. They've been great. They're 4K wires and they're pretty cheap as well. Now with the electrical, you cannot run your power through the wall. It's not up to code, and it's not, an approved way of doing it. So you can't just drill a hole and run an extension cord through the wall. You gotta get with an electrician and have them install you an actual outlet behind the TV so it won't be seen. And if you can do electrical yourself, you can do it yourself as well. So for the actual electronics, we ran them inside of our closet. So here's our closet. We got a gaming PC right there. That's an Asus gaming PC. We use it for video and whatnot. Then we have our cable box right there, and we have our 2 HDMIs. And we tried to wire everything as clean as possible. We pulled our wiring down. Then we also installed another electrical outlet here in the closet so that we can plug up all our stuff. So we got 2 power splitters here. They're up top there. Let's see if you can see it. They're up top here, and it allows us to plug up all our stuff. We got our home alarm here. We got our router. We got our cable modem, and we have a dog, as you see right there. So we need a lot of vacuum power to keep up with all the fur. So we got 2 Dyson vacuums here. So we making full use of our 4 outlets that we have available right here. We pretty much just turned the closet into a full electronic power hub thing, I guess what you call it. We also run our wireless printer inside of here, so it just works out good. I mean, we've pretty much used every plug available. We ran our cable from the basement. We ran our cable down through here from the basement, so cable and internet's coming through, and we got our extra cable wires spooled up there, and then we got our splitter right there coming down for our cable box and for our router. So you can clearly see how we did everything. 50-foot HDMIs was enough for them to come down through the ceiling and go behind our computer, which gives us a lot of HD power, 4K whatever, and HDMI for the cable box. The cable box doesn't even produce that high picture quality. So that's one way you can do your wireless TV. It's a more complicated way, but it's also the more powerful way. Like I said, I'll link to the products used. This has been a great mount for us. It's been up here for I want to say 2 years, and it's been totally trouble free. So if you are looking to get one of these, just be careful. It's a very dangerous install with the amount of weight this TV weighs, or TVs this size weigh. Coming this far off the wall, if it were to fall, it could be a disaster. So you have to be extremely careful when you install this. Be extremely precise. Follow all the instructions when it comes to pre-drilling your pilot holes and installing your bolts. And I highly recommend just upgrading to a stronger bolt, just because the ones they supply were not that good. It's a screw that goes into wood, so you have to get that kind of screw that's threaded for wood and everything. Just go to the hardware, take what you have, what comes in a package, and say, hey, look, I want stronger, but the same thing. And they should be able to hook you up. Stainless steel has an assumed strength of a grade 8 bolt, so the bolts that they gave weren't even rated, and that's probably one of the things where they just try to cut costs and put the bare minimum. And that was just the one complaint that I had with the mount itself. It didn't come with bolts, and I really would have been nice if they kind of greased everything too, but that's a personal preference for me. Another thing to think about is make sure you install this where you have good strong studs. Not all of the studs in your house are going to be as strong. Sometimes your studs could be weakened by something that you don't see. Like if you have a lot of plumbing in the wall, maybe near, like if your bathroom is on the other side and you have a lot of big drains going through the bottom, chances are there could be a big hole drilled through your stud for a drain or something like that on the bottom, and it could weaken those studs. So make sure you pick a spot where there's not a lot of things going on behind the walls. And also, when we put this in, I tested this to make sure it can hold the weight. I hung my own weight off of it, and weigh a lot more than a TV. So I really did make sure it was sturdy. It's definitely a good idea to make sure it's sturdy before you go ahead and hang a TV that is this heavy onto the mount. But this is a cool mount. Aside from all those other things I was just saying, this is a cool mount. It will pivot in any position, and it will let you put the TV in different places on the wall. Like I can kind of swing it out like this, and I can swing it like this, and I can make it appear like the TV, and I can still put the TV flat against the wall into another spot on the wall. I can also put the TV into that corner because of where it's positioned. I can angle the TV in that corner, and I can make it look as if the TV is floating in the middle of the wall, so it's perfect. So even though my TV is mounted a little bit to the left so that people sitting on the couch can watch it, I can still swing it over and make it look like it's in the middle of the wall. It won't get as flat to the wall, but it kind of looks like it's floating in midair, which is really pretty cool. So definitely happy with it. It's been great. And if you're looking for a good product, I'll link this product so that you can check it out. But anyway, let's check out the other TV that we have on wireless TV mount. And this will give you a different idea if you maybe want to do something a little bit easier, a little bit simpler. Here's a different idea. So here is a different TV that we have mounted on a wireless mount. It's a Samsung TV. It's a nicer TV. And I want to say it's like the best Samsung you could have gotten a couple years ago. But we don't really watch it too much. But anyway, this is a totally different setup. As you see, it's not as close to the wall as the other one because it's not a recessed mount. So it's a lot cheaper and a lot easier to install a mount that is not recessed. So totally different aspect. I didn't grease this one. I just kind of installed it the way it was, and it's a lot harder to move around, even though it is even though it's not as heavy as a TV. This TV is a little bit smaller than the one in the living room, but it's a lot lighter. So basically, to get this TV to be wireless, all I did was simply install a 4-gang outlet, had that installed by an electrician to go behind the TV so you can't see the outlet, and that was pretty much it. Everything else is a smart TV, so you don't have anything else really there. Now, being that it's not a recessed mount, it's a lot easier to install this mount. Basically, you use a stud finder to find your studs, and you just got 4 bolts that just drive right down to the surface of the wall. And as long as you hit your studs, you drill your pilots. They give you really strong bolts with the kit. I picked this up from Best Buy. So it came with strong enough bolts, and everything else was great install. Now, as far as like what we're watching on this, well, we just use the smart TV features whenever we do. We have tons of smart TV features nowadays, so you don't need to have your cable box and all that stuff brought in and wired in. You can just use your smart TVs, and I think a lot of cable companies nowadays will allow you to use your smart TV to be a cable box instead of having an actual cable box. So that is a simpler solution if you don't have that kind of drive and ambition. You don't really want to turn your whole TV area into a workstation like in my living room, where we have wireless keyboards and wireless mouse to power our TV with our computer and all that stuff. We could edit video, we could do anything you need to do with a computer, pay bills, print, whatever, all that stuff in our living room. Whereas if you just want to have a simple entertainment system, maybe for a kid's room or for a bedroom or just for a living room where you're not doing a whole lot, this is a good solution. It's a lot cheaper, a lot quicker, a lot easier to just put your TV on the wall and just have a smart TV where there's not a lot of extra wires going to it anyway, and then just have your electrical installed so that it's behind your TV. So anyway, guys, that's it for the video. Share this video if you know anybody looking for a TV mount, articulating TV mount or recessed TV mount, and hope to hear from you soon. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe and have a great day. Bye.